Welcome to The Dental Brief, the podcast that delivers actionable insights and expert strategies to help dental professionals like you grow, lead, and succeed. I'm your host, Patrick Shavasty, the president of Omni Premier Marketing. Every week at The Dental Brief, we bring you real conversations from expert speakers that offer expert advice and quick tips that make a real difference in practices nationwide. Whether you're a general dentist or run a multi-location practice, we've got you covered with content that's designed to help you attract more patients, to streamline your operations, reduce headaches in managing your practice, and increase your profitability. If you're ready to elevate your practice, be sure to subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and let's dive into today's episode of The Dental Brief. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Dental Brief. So excited for today's guest. He's a very busy guy. He's got a lot going on. This is going to be an exciting episode. Shreyas, say hello to everyone.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Hey, I got the name right, correct?
You got the name right. I know it's a hard one, but you got it perfectly right.
Yeah, it's my last name is Shavasty. I mispronounce it myself from time to time, so it's nothing personal. So you're with Daydream Dental. Go to your website, check it out. Dental billing on autopilot. There's a lot more to it than that, right? And I think we're going to get into this a little bit. We're going to talk about some cool things like AI. Does that sound right?
That sounds exactly right. Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, most people, when they hear dental billing, they just immediately tune out, but I promise you it's going to be a good interview. So stay tuned.
Yeah. And let's jump in. I saw Stanford. That usually gets people's attention. Why don't you give us a little bit about your background and then tell us, how'd you get involved in dental in the first place?
Yeah. So, I jokingly say I was born into dental school. My mom was pregnant with me when she got into dental school. She raised me all throughout it. When I was 10 years old, she started her own practice, and that became our family business. So, at 10 years old, I was building the chairs in the waiting room. I was the receptionist. I was the IT guy, the bookkeeper, the janitor.
Yeah.
Anything that didn't involve touching teeth, I was probably doing growing up.
Sure.
And so, again, the dental life, I did not choose it. It chose me for sure. But yeah, I mean, unlike my mom, I was not a big fan of being, bent over, hunched over in people's mouths all day, but I was very good with the computer stuff. And so I studied biomedical computation at Stanford. I was an AI researcher. I was working in startups. And, one day about 2 years ago, my mom calls me and she's sick and I have to come home and I start running the practice full time. And that's when I was like, oh man, nothing has changed about the way our office runs, even though the world that I was living in AI had changed extremely rapidly every year for the past decade. And so I was like, something has to change.
Yep. So you're out solving problems that dentists have. Let's talk about a couple of the newer problems. Maybe some of these problems didn't exist so long ago. The newer problems that you're solving when your people are getting phone calls from dentists or inquiries, or you're at a speaking event and someone comes up to you. What are you hearing? What are they talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest problem is just the labor shortage and the skilled labor shortage across the country of people who know how to deal with dental insurance. I mean, if you look at most job postings for front office admins, these job postings are up for months. And even when you do get good staff, they turn over quickly. I mean, staffing is one of the biggest problems. And, this is an area where you can't just pluck someone off the street and then put them in front of dental insurance and expect them that they can appeal all these claims, that they can verify insurance correctly. It takes a lot of training. And I think that is the biggest problem that we keep on hearing is it's hard to find good people to do this. And even when you do, it burns them out. Imagine you're a team member and you have to wake up at 8 a.m., crack of dawn, start dialing and be on hold with insurance companies for 20 to 30 minutes every call. You're not going to stay in that place long, right? So this is the problem we hear again and again is it's harder to deal with these dental insurance companies and it's harder to find people who are willing to deal with these dental insurance companies.
Yep. This morning I talked to an orthodontist who's finally got himself staffed up, but he talked about how difficult it was because everyone in his area was paying much more than he could afford at the current time, right? Orthodontist, as you know, it's a slow startup period. And that makes total sense to me. Now, with knowing that there is a staffing shortage and we still need team members, right? They haven't gone away. And I know we're going to talk about AI here in a bit. They haven't gone away. One way to pay your team members more money and to still make the same amount of profit, or to pay them more and make even more profit, is to make sure that you're collecting everything that you can be collecting, right? Pretty simple.
Exactly.
Right. No, I've heard, and I kind of want to throw some numbers out there, but they're going to be extreme and they might not even be accurate. But I've heard like the fluctuation from practice to practice on what they're collecting can be like night and day. Some might be collecting as high as 95%, some as low as like 45%. And so if you're a team member, you're an associate, or you're a dentist who's trying to keep their team members, if you're only collecting 40, 30, 50%, it's going to be a tough road. What are some numbers that you know? What are some stats that you see?
Yeah. I mean, on average, the average dentist has about $150,000 to $200,000 of insurance accounts receivable. That's almost 150 grand in someone else's pocket that might belong in yours. I think
Yeah,
that's one that I hate hearing all the time. And
it's
honestly,
crazy.
that's the average. I would say a lot of practices, if they were to look and run the report themselves, it actually might be a little higher. I will say again, in
Wow.
industry right now, the average collections rate is like closer to 80%. It can be much closer to 95%. And we work with a lot of practices. I mean, we just onboarded a practice 6 months ago. They had a 65% collection rate. And in the past 6 months, we've gotten them up to 95%.
Wow.
And it's, again, it's night and day. I mean, it's cool when they say, hey, I feel like I'm making more money, but I don't feel like I'm working any harder. And I'm like, yes, that is exactly what you should have been feeling for the past 10 years of your life. But instead, you've lost, hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it's never too late. It's never too
Yeah.
late.
If you're a practice owner, imagine if a team member comes to you and says, "Hey, I need to make another $4 an hour to keep my job here." And you say, "I can't afford that." And they go, "Well, we're only collecting 50%, 60%. We could be collecting 95%. That's $300,000 a year. You could certainly pay me an extra $3,000 a year if you just collected part of that." And imagine if that was their response. I mean, you'd probably want to fire them on the spot, right? You'd be pretty upset about that, but that's literally what's happening, right?
No, and again, it's literally just money in someone else's pocket. And the second biggest problem is the insurance companies have just gotten smarter about how they deny claims and how they make it
Sure.
harder for you, right?
Yeah.
The
Eh,
average hold time now is 15 minutes to get in touch with the insurance company. The
Wow.
dentist doesn't have time, the front staff doesn't have the time, and the insurance companies know this. So, the crazy stat to me is if the insurance company denies 50,000 claims, only 100 of them get followed up on,
Yeah.
0.2%. Who's doing that, right?
Yeah. So, Shreyas, I want you to promote what you're doing, but one thing we try to always do is make sure that, hey, we're giving information that people can use without the promotion too.
Yep.
So, kind of a two-part question here is one, how can Daydream Dental help out? And then two, if somebody doesn't want to engage with somebody else right now, they're skeptical or they just don't have the time or they just don't trust anyone, whatever it may be, what are two or three things that they can do on their own without engaging with somebody else, without helping to really change their bottom line?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And the first couple of things is just be running reports in your practice management software and do it regularly. I mean, so many of the practices we see don't actually run their accounts receivable report. They're not actually analyzing the data that lives in their practice management software.
Yeah.
And that is a easy lift thing to do if you get in the habit of running these reports every month and just put it on a spreadsheet, right? Just start to see how your business is changing and how much money you might be leaving on the table. I think another big one is, again, really, really deeply understand why denials are happening in the first place. These EOBs that you're getting in the mail or digitally, I mean, they tell you what the denial reason is. Start to understand them, because a lot of times denials are happening for silly reasons, missing documentation, not having detailed enough clinical notes. These are extremely fixable. And then
Yep.
I think the third one is just really spend time understanding what the work your front office is doing is, because my mom's a clinician. I know she's back there all day every day. It's so hard to get time to focus on what's happening at the front, but candidly, that's where the conversations with patient experiences happen the most. That's
Sure.
where you get a bad Google review when a patient gets a bill they don't understand. Really spend time with your office manager, understand what's happening at the front. And we actually have a conversation guide that you can get for free on our website. So go to our website, you can get it for free. That helps dentists talk to their office manager about what's happening in their practice, because I know it can be hard to have these conversations, but if you're not, you might be leaving a lot of money on the table.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. So that's brilliant. So outside of that guide that's on Daydream Dental, tell me what else can you guys provide as far as value? How are you helping dentists change their games?
Yeah. So we basically do insurance verification, insurance AR, which includes claim submission, payment posting, follow ups, working outstanding claims. Basically, your entire billing department you can give to Daydream, and we will be able to do everything end to end. And compared to a lot of these billing agencies that exist, I started the company because I noticed all of the billing agencies were doing the same workflows manually every day, and that seemed ridiculous when a lot of the work is actually 80% of the work is data entry. A lot of the work
Sure.
is automatable. And so what we do as a billing agency is we build all of the software to help automate things. Like, for example, we automatically connect into your bank account and reconcile payments. We automatically post payments. We have AIs that call the insurance company every morning to basically check the status of a claim. That makes our humans work 3 to 5 times faster. And what's really nice is they give data back into that feedback loop that helps our software get better. And so I think really the value that we add is we don't want to just throw more software and tools at you. We throw you the solution. You get a dedicated account manager who's been doing this for 8 years. They're using the software every day to make them better, which then helps them serve you better. And that way you can truly put it on autopilot.
Now, on the flip side of this, and it's interesting, multiple years ago, I mean, probably 2.5 years ago, I had a couple of guests on the program that were developing AI that is being used by insurance companies to decide what they're going to buy and what they're not going to buy. And I think that is really, it's interesting, right? Because when they're on the program, I'm thinking, okay, this could really be used to say no. But sometimes it seems like it's also like a lawsuit waiting to happen, right? Like your very own AI said that you should be, that this patient needed treatment and you denied it. It seems like it becomes very black and white when it's, I always say, if you put it on an Excel sheet, it's real. Like people believe it for whatever reason. If it's printed, people believe it. What's going to happen there? I mean, the insurance companies are definitely not going to make changes so that they can spend more money on treatment. That is not what they're going to do. So where do you see this battle of, we'll call it good versus evil, going?
Yeah, I think the way that we always think about it is we want to be on the side of the provider. The provider actually knows what is happening in the patient's mouth. They actually understand what's happening in the context of their patient.
Yeah.
And it's usually that, insurance companies usually don't win on the clinical stuff. They lose out on the clinical stuff. They win on the administrative burden, the hold times, the needing to go to an insurance portal that apparently goes down every Monday at 9 a.m. for no reason, right? Yep. They win on the administrative burden. And that's where Daydream comes in, is we help dentists fight against this administrative burden because they try to bleed you dry with your time and your frustration. I mean, the amount of stress dentists have, it's easier for them to ignore it than it is to deal with it,
Well, being a marketer, one of the things that scares us always is someone sitting on a phone trying to get a reimbursement for a cleaning, and we have somebody calling wanting 5 implants, right? And they don't pick up the phone because they've been on hold for so long. They don't want to let go of it, right? So that's always, I think there's so much money being lost and production being lost on hold time. People have no idea. If your whole team is on hold, they can't schedule with new patients. That's scary.
The thing that a lot of people realize, like when they outsource billing, they actually spend more time investing in their employees when their employees can look up from their computer instead of typing away and trying to verify insurance or submit claims or appeal. Like they're just actually focusing on the in-person patient experience, because that is why patients come to you. It's not for you to do paperwork. And that's really what we try to encourage dentists to do, is think about how you can rework your team and reallocate resources to the thing that matters most, which is education of the patient, having a great patient experience, not dealing with dental insurance, right?
That kind of reminds me a book, I think it's called The One Thing by Gary Keller. I think I'm paraphrasing here. It's basically, you should always be working on tasks that eliminate other tasks. That's a really smart thing that you can do. And sometimes that means hiring somebody else to do it. Daydream.dental is your website. What's that process like? And here in a minute or less, somebody's going to check it out, learn more about you. How's that work?
Yeah. You just go to our website, schedule a demo. You can also just text or call me at any time, 484-716-2817. Again, I do all the demos myself. I get to know every single practice. And the reality is we might not be a good fit for every practice. And that's what we really spend on the first 30 minutes, is understanding, how does your practice work? What are you looking for? What kinds of outcomes do you want? Because growing up, my mom was sold software and tools and solutions that didn't work for our practice. And that is net negative for everybody here. And so we really spend a lot of time trying to understand your practice, what you need, and we'll show you the platform, show you where the automations come in, and also more importantly, where the humans come in, because that, I think, is going to be the defining question of AI in our decade, is how do we decide what should be automated and what should be done by a human? Because there is work that should be automated and there's work that should be left to a human. And I think part of our job will be kind of showing you where that intersection is. But 30 minutes, again, really easy. And I started the company because my mom was losing my college fund every year for 15 years, right? This is deeply personal to me, and this is deeply personal to everyone on our team.
Yeah. Well, I spent my kids' college fund on a boat, so hopefully they get into the marina business. We'll see what happens there.
And hopefully they've enjoyed the boat. You know what I mean? It's not a bad investment. I like it.
Yeah, of course. I'm kidding there a little bit, kind of. Shreyas, hey, thanks so much. One more time, the website is daydream.dental. Shreyas, will you come back on? I want to talk more with you.
Definitely. And we can chat about AI and everything that's happening in it, because, there's a lot happening.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Dental Brief. If you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a colleague who could benefit. We're here to help dental professionals like you stay ahead of the curve, one brief episode at a time. You can find more episodes and resources at thedentalbrief.com. You can also join the Growth-Minded Dentist community on Facebook. Links are in the description. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and thanks for being part of the Dental Brief community.